folks. So we should give it a few minutes and let people join in, and I'll kick things off. Okay, so welcome everyone. This is the monthly AMA with the delivery team, who are, most of us are here, so thanks everyone for joining. So this is a chance really for anyone to ask questions about deployments, releases for GitLab.com, releases to our self-managed customers, or anything else that we are working on as well. So would anybody like to kick us off with a question?
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Recently, there's been work to spin up a canary stage in our staging environment. This canary stage historically has been used for slowing us down intentionally to prevent certain changes from making it to production, inducing an outage. The same is going to happen for staging. This is in direct conflict with our OKR to drive down MTTP. So what protections are we going to push into place to protect ourselves from violating our current OKR to drive down MTTP?
That is a super good question. So yes, as you state, we have added in a stage to our deployment pipelines, which is a staging canary. So this will get us, it's not an exact replica yet, but this gets us much closer to our production deployment setup, where we have a production canary, and then we allow some time for it to bake before we move to the production main stage. So on staging, we will have a similar setup. Now, on end-to-end time, this will slow down on MTTP, like changes moving to production will take a bit longer. The plus side is we should see fewer incidents, or incidents being caught much earlier. So we will be able to recover from problems on staging far quicker than we recover from problems on canary. So overall, that should speed things up. Following this, though, once we see the impact of having this extra stage in, we can consider, like, we have an extra stage, we get a bit of extra protection from staging. So we can consider, does that affect the hour of baking time? Maybe we readjust that. Maybe we rejuggle how we run tests against baking time to bring things down. So it does add an extra stage, but hopefully it adds in an extra safety stage that we can use to reduce the time to recover from incidents. Are there any other questions?
I have one, and I'll put it in the doc. I don't know if it's the right area, but what are we doing to communicate better the changes that we're making to customers' workflows in regards to like feature flags that we push out? A lot of the feedback I've been receiving from customers is, I don't know where to find any of these issues. Like, do I just go search for feature flags being released that will break my stuff? You know, that's what they're asking, and my answer is, I'm not sure. A lot of the stuff, if you're not following the issue, you won't find that information. And the one that I'm just throwing out there, because I just experienced it, was the CI container, CI job token, change CI job token. There we go. Sorry. That one had impacted a few customers, and they were basically asking, like, we don't mind if you're going to be changing stuff, and we know we're on the most up-to-date version, but what can we do to make sure that we get that communication? So I think that's just the main question.
That's a super good question. Yes, because every release does have so many changes going in. So all of these things should be going into the release post. So for a patch release, we generate those within delivery with the changes that we include. For the bigger ones, for the monthly release, the product managers are sort of incorporating changes into the release post. So that's the main way that people should be able to find out about things. I think if that's not, it's either the formatting or the content is not making that easy for people to do that, then I'd suggest there is a Slack channel with for release posts, or we feed that back into the product managers so that we can improve on that.
Okay. How much lead time are we thinking to give customers? The reason why I asked is I asked them what they would expect. And for some customers, their goal of their platform is to be 100% automation. So as their automation platform, what they're saying is, we can log into GitLab and it's up. But for us, reliability and stability for GitLab.com is, can I get in and log in and do my workflow for the day? So when they logged in last week, a lot of them had broken pipelines everywhere. They got 404 errors and they were just wondering what was going on. So what he was asking was, when are you going to make that change? Like, when are you going to announce it? And then how can you let us know? Because what they were asking for is about 2 weeks. That's what he would expect. And I said, I don't know if we can meet that, but at least we have, a requirement from you. And then we can go from there and say, yes, we can deliver that, or no. I know we're not going to release something in one day, right? Like, I'll make an issue and then you say, let's do it right now. It usually takes some planning, but I didn't know if we have a schedule or anything that I can point them to, of like how we determine that time frame and if that's okay for them, because they just need to be able to make those changes to their workflow so that it works when they log in. That's what they're worried about.
I'm not totally sure on which situation we're talking about here, but so, I mean, it might be worth, if you've got a link or something, we could follow up on that one. But I think generally breaking changes should be on the major milestones. And that's kind of the intention, is that monthly releases are new things coming in that people can switch over to. If we're doing things that are removing things, then my understanding was those would be limited to the 14.0, the 15.0. 14.0 was out in June. And for that month, there are lots of breaking changes, and they should be all communicated in the months leading up to that, so that people do have sufficient time to switch over. But it sounds like this one might be a slightly different case. So maybe we should dig into actually what happened there.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thanks for asking. Stan, you have the next question.
Yeah, there's 2 things I was really excited to see this week, so thanks for that. Staging Canary. I saw in the system a note from the bot saying, hey, it's live on Staging Canary. So is that fully live now? Can we, are we actually doing tests against the mixed deployments?
Not yet. So it is fully live. We don't have the tests in place at the moment. They are coming today or tomorrow. So they are pretty close to being there, but the environment is up and being deployed too.
Awesome. Thank you. And the second one is a rollback. And I was excited to see that the rollback is so much faster than it has ever been. 37 minutes is a record time. I'm sure you guys are going to get that down to even more. But my question really is should this be something we should be communicating to people, that we should not hesitate to do this anymore? Because in the past, I've been a little hesitant because, well, I'm not sure if it's going to break something or cause more problems. And yesterday, we didn't fully understand the problem, the incident. So we weren't sure what version rolling back to would have been productive. But if it was one kind of thing where if it took 10 minutes to roll back and we had to do it again, maybe that's not a big deal. It's worth the cost. So is that something we should be discussing, or at least talking about to more to the wider community here?
I can take this one, Amy, if you don't mind. So the biggest problem we have right now with rollbacks are post-deployment migration. So what we have right now is that if there is a post-deployment migration between what we are running and the previous package, we cannot roll back. So all the tooling that we built around this are just limiting us to comparing what is running now with what was running before. So we just do one step rollback. There's no real limit. The only reason why we have this limit, because it makes it easier for us to figure out if there are post-deployment migration or not. So our what we think as a team, I think I can speak for everyone here, is that we believe that rollback are possible, but we have only the specific case, which is common because we often ship post-deployment migration. So our goal in this direction is more about trying to solve the rollbacks problem so that we can pack them together and do them on weekly basis or in controlled environments, so that when a release manager is around, they say, this is the point in time where we cannot go back. So we run the post deployment migration, and then we know that everything else can be rolled back. Because long term, our vision on this is more about going toward also something like automated rollback. So if metrics goes wrong during a deployment, we just roll back. But we are quite far away from that point.
Right, and that's helpful. The post-deployment migration, I'm curious how often that's happening. Like, are we seeing once per day or actually just, once per week?
So we are building on a metrics on this because we don't know for sure. So when we were testing the rollback at the beginning, sometimes we're rollbackable, sometimes not. So I would say, no, I can't ballpark a number here. So, but at least one for week, I'm quite sure we have at least one for week, but probably also one for day.
We had one today, at least, I can say.
I would say so as well, yeah. And I think just to add, to build on what Alessio said there a bit, like in terms of so we have kind of two parts to the rollback problem. One is, is the package suitable to roll back? And that's the challenge we're solving right now. If the answer to that is yes, and we have a rollback check that gives us that answer, then absolutely, we should be evangelizing that. That is so far, we're in the early stages of rolling these out and testing on production, but all of our staging tests have been very successful. We've had 2 recent incidents on production that we've managed to mitigate with rollbacks. So yes, I think we're at the stage where if a package is suitable for rollback, we suspect the issue is related to the deployment, we probably should just go ahead and roll back and see if that improves things. Like, a rollback should be safer than a deployment because it's a previously installed package. So there's no great risk to doing the rollback in that sense. We just need to run more of them to build the confidence.
I was actually wondering about that on the incident yesterday, Stan, because I feel like if we had rolled back as soon as we were like, something's wrong, let's just roll back, then it would have been much harder to actually isolate what the problem was. So I'm not sure if what the balance is there of how we debug it, but also just fix it right away.
Just since we are talking about post-deployment migrations and rollbacks, we have currently opened up an issue discussing the future of post-deployment migrations and what we can do about them. So, well, I invite you all to jump into that issue and to leave your feedback. It is an interesting one.
Yes, thanks for sharing that, Myra. Like, definitely encourage everyone to help us on that. Like, for one of our Q3 OKRs is around solving this post-deployment problem so that we have more packages suitable for rollback. So yeah, this is a big part of it. Excellent. Does anybody else have any questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining today, and thanks for all the questions. We look forward to seeing you all next month. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks a lot. Bye.